All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Legend of the Three Kingdoms. Yes, this is one of my custom homebrewed D&D games set in a demi-plane related to my custom homebrewed messed up world and the people below me. Um, they play characters. Normally, I have something pithy to say, but my brain's not working today. So they're awesome. They they're nice enough to show up for games and you know not call me out constantly for forgetting the things or when accents randomly change mid sentence. This is stuff like that. I like them. They're nice. However, buddy. So, if anyone's wondering what's going on, I am quite literally, my brain is not working today. Had a panic attack earlier. My brain is still running on adrenaline, so I don't 100% know what's going on, which isn't 100% different from most nights. It's just a little harder to hide it. So if you notice things are more confusing than normal, that's because I'm confused. But beyond that, um, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any announcements or anything. I don't think so. Do you guys have anything cool going on? Nope, none of us are cool. We had a lovely discussion about merchandising and retail earlier, because those are the kind of things that I like to talking about. I'm single, by the way, in case you were wondering. Don't know why. Yeah. So anyway, maybe we should jump back into this, huh? The party has returned to Scornmote, the final missing member of their party they hope is there. As they arrive, they were met by a welcoming party sent by the local church of the Dark Lady, which told them magic is not allowed inside city limits and to behave themselves or they will be asked to leave. After a bit of a rough start meeting with them, they came to the front of the city and were told they were not welcome due to the poor reception they had gotten from the church. Still wanting to find their lost friend, they camped outside and started trying to find ways to make their way into this as a city. Part of this involved meeting the local constable and getting to know him. He had agreed something strange was going on, and they found themselves an unlikely ally in the person who is preventing them from entering this as a city. All of this has been happening. Liliane has been learning. Having appeared in Scornmote months ago, and having joined the Church of the Dark Lady, she is almost unrecognizable from her former self, which is why her allies did not recognize her when she met them in front of the town. But now things are changing. Liliane is starting to come to terms with the decisions she's made, and the decisions that have been made for her. She's going to have to decide if she wants to be the passive of a follower she has been for these many months, or the active leader she used to be. When we left last to the time, very quickly remind me, was I with the main party, or is I dealing with Lillian?
I think the last thing I remember was the main party. We had just finished up with the guard,
Okay.
And
and
I
you
was
had.
in the middle of that sequence with the
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. You had just kind of finished your little dream. I remember it now. So, Lillian. It is early. Much, much too early. You're never a fan of the second day of punishment, because the first day is rough because it's hard work. The second day is rough because you wake up early, and you wake up because all your muscles and joints hurt. So as you wake up in your room slash cell, you're used to being woken up by the sunrise. Generally, sunrise is your little alarm clock, and you're expected to be downstairs ready for breakfast within about 15 minutes of the sunrise. But as you open your eyes now, your room is still very much dark. Even the kind of pre-dawn glow has not really started yet. But you are certain at this point you're not getting back to sleep. So what would you like to do?
Um, I wait, what does normally be like people in the house at night or
Um, there are always at least a priest and a couple acolytes that are awake around the clock in case someone comes in and needing some sort of spiritual help, or if travelers are coming very little late at night. There's always a few people awake. The head priest is not. He is never awake at this hour.
um wait, did I tell kind of about what time like
Um,
if I went down would I be like super early?
it's about like an hour and a half before sunrise is your best guess. There are certain things that need to be done either right at sunrise or right before sunrise in the fields. But your particular punishment is not among them. Due to the fact that the church does not keep livestock or anything, which is normally the stuff you take care of before sunrise, like milking your cows, feeding your chickens. You guys don't do livestock. You only have your garden and agriculture. You could go out and effectively help with the kind of pre-dawn stuff. Like I'm actually not sure what you do without animals on a farm before the dawn, but I'm certain there's something that happens.
Would they let me help prepare breakfast?
Yeah, there's always a normally the kitchen staff, if you could come down because you are unable to sleep, which is not an uncommon thing, especially for new acolytes. They have you kneading dough, or sometimes they'll have you peel potatoes for a meal a little later. But there's always work to be done in the kitchen.
I'll go down to the kitchen.
Okay.
Oh,
So as you go to the kitchen, as you step out into the hallway, it is a little bit brisk in the hallway itself, which is a little weird. Again, you don't really have seasons in Scormo that you've been able to tell. And temperatures tend to stay pretty constant, but for some odd reason today, it almost feels like that little like pre-winter nip is in the air, and that kind of awakens your senses because it's new, it's different. The halls themselves are mostly empty. Every so often you'll see an acolyte kind of staggering around, probably going to one of the wash basins or something like that to start getting ready early, or going to relieve themselves because a lot of the cells don't have chamber pots. None of them acknowledge you. They're in that zombie stupor of God isn't awake this early. And the closer you get to the kitchen, the warmer it gets. And at first it's kind of pleasant, and as you kind of turn the corner into the kitchen, it is not unpleasant, but it is a kitchen. And as soon as you come in, there is this kind of rotund halfling woman that you're not quite sure how she does it. She's the cook for the entire church, and she is the fastest halfling you've ever met in your life, and you never actually see her move. She just has these boxes stacked everywhere, so she can get on all the surfaces to chop things, and she will just magically appear at a different station whenever she's needed. And without even turning, she goes, second day of punishments. Not particularly for fun now, is it, Lillian?
no, not.
Well, we've got Ralston in need. And she kind of gestures over to a place where there's already 3 acolytes there, and this really large mound of dough that they're hacking pieces off of and kneading.
I'll go over to the thing and then start.
Yeah, it's work you've done before. It's generally done in silence, not because the cook, who is just known as Tuft, is just, everyone just calls her Tuft. And you've never had the heart to ask where the name comes from, because it's obviously not her name at all. But it's not that the Tuft has any problem with talking or anything like that. She's very talkative. But the priests and a few of the higher ups prefer everything to be very, very solemn and very little to the talking, and so everyone just kind of accepts that. So you kind of get into your place and start in a kneading dough, as you've done dozens of times before. And as you're working your muscles and things like that, some of the knots are starting to come out. As you use them a little bit more, you're starting to be able to kind of stretch and move. Some of your joints are now kind of unfreezing and unlocking from sleeping on your very much not Tempur-Pedic bed. And after about 45 minutes, you guys have got almost all the rolls are on sheets that are ready to go into your very, very large oven. Yeah, you're kind of sitting back. You're drinking some water with the other ones. There's always some like biscuits or other kind of dry goods there for you guys to snack on between jobs. So you're kind of relaxing. It's a pleasant experience. And suddenly this very, very cold wind just whips through the kitchen, which is very, very odd. The kitchen is always very warm. It has a massive wood-burning oven, and they're also in the center. There's a wood-burning oven on the west side, or east side, sorry. The east side of the room, where all the baked goods go. And then the center of the room, there is this massive kind of fire pit with grates over it for any direct cooking. So it's a very hot room. And out of nowhere, like all of your clothing ruffles and the wind chills all the way down to your bones.
Is there anyone else around?
As you look around, no. They're just kind of chilling, eating, drinking their water. A couple of... at this point, there's about half a dozen of you guys, because as it went later, more and more people would show up. And a couple of the really, really new ones are having very, very quiet conversations that they think they're getting away with. And none of them, their clothes didn't even ruffle. But, and the breeze is gone now. It lasted for a second, but you're still cold from it.
I want around anything else seem out of place.
Go ahead and make me a perception check. Okay, looking around, nothing seems out of place per se, but something doesn't feel quite right. You can't really put your finger on it, but as you kind of look around, it's just something is off. And as you kind of focus a little bit more, one of the other acolytes kind of looks at you and kind of just taps you on the shoulder. Are you all right?
There was days older I've been punishment.
Yeah. Everybody. There's not a whole lot of secrets that last very long in the a church, at least about stuff like punishments. But for you specifically, anytime you're admonished or anything, it seems that everybody knows instantly. So you've just kind of accepted that whatever happens is public knowledge within minutes.
say, yeah, it just say it there,
And as soon as you say second day, it's like, ooh.
yeah.
You see him kind of look around, and he reaches under his robes, and he brings out a very small kind of flask kind of thing. It keeps the water cold pretty well. If you hide it, they may not see it. Trust me, it helps.
I got, I'll try to see,
Yeah, it's not a difficult thing. One of the things that you're taught very early on by whichever acolyte is kind of given you is given the job of teaching you how the things work is the places where you can hide small things where the priests won't find them. It's just accepted.
yeah.
So, yeah, you sequester it away in a waistband. And it is cold.
I wish to see you in how if I wanted to get up and say go to the bathroom, could I just get up and
Yeah, you're not there as a job. You're there because you couldn't sleep. So you could literally get up and leave whenever you want. Tuft won't stop you. The only thing she'll stop you is again because you're on punishment. You're supposed to be fasting. If she catches you with food, she will reprimand you. But it's remarkable how bad her eyesight is on the people that she tends to enjoy. So, yeah, you at this point you've got about 15 or so minutes before you're expected to be at breakfast. Despite the fact you're not allowed to eat any of it, you're still expected to sit there as everyone else eats.
I'll finish the role that I'm working on, and then I'll get up.
Okay.
And you myself, if anyone I'll say I need to get ready for breakfast.
Okay.
And then I'll kind of walk in the direction that the breeze came from.
Okay. As you kind of head into to the hallway, from the direction the breeze came from, it feels a little bit more normal. You don't feel that kind of winter bite, and you just kind of keep looking around. And as you wander a little more, trying to find it, you suddenly feel that blast of cold air again. Your robes kind of ruffle in the wind, and you could swear for a split second you saw snow. And it was coming from behind you, and you to turn around, and it's a hallway. It's a hallway you've been in a dozen times. And again, you get that feeling that something is not right. Nothing looks out of place, but there's just something wrong.
To the wall, the water, trying to see it happen again, I guess.
Okay. So as you kind of trace this breeze that comes from nowhere, you kind of make your way through the church itself. The main church building itself is not massive, but it is the largest building in town, and it's also the tallest building in town. It's the cells are on the third floor. The second floor has rooms and all these other things for many uses. And on the base floor, you have it kind of divided into two sections, where all the acolytes and everything kind of prepare, and then the outer section where the cathedral is, where services are held. That's where the public is allowed to go. And as you're following this mystery breeze that keeps appearing and disappearing, every so often with snow, it's leading you more and more towards the cathedral, which is not somewhere you go often. For whatever reason, ever since you've been here, the services that they hold just don't feel right to you. And so you just haven't attended them often. But it's leading you right into the cathedral. And as you feel the kind of final burst of cold air, you kind of look at your shoulders and there is white things left on your shoulder. As you kind of look down and you kind of wipe them off, they melt. There is snow on your shoulders. And you've never seen snow in Scornmote. What would you like to do?
What I know this time of day was the will be occupied.
In general, there is always a priest, either in the cathedral, or there's actually a very tiny room with a desk and a chair that a priest is supposed to always be in case someone comes in. So you know there's someone supposed to be there. However, with the last blast of cold air, as you look into the cathedral, it is completely empty.
Know that I'm going to the cathedral.
Okay. As you walk,
I'll try to be still easy in case someone happens on me.
okay. Go ahead and make me a stealth check.
That would be a 21 again.
All right. So as you walk in, you are almost invisible. You know every place in this cathedral where people can hide because you've used them to get out of services, to get out of work you didn't want to do. You know this cathedral. And so every time you're getting close to a place where you know someone might be there, you very kind of slowly and quietly look around and there's nothing. And now it's starting to feel weird because you know if a priest is not in the cathedral, someone is getting punished. This is a hard and fast rule in this church. There is always a priest or a very high level acolyte in the cathedral. If someone from the town wanders in and there's no one here, the high priest will flip. And as you're starting to get a little worried, because generally if there's no priest here, it means that they're off doing something very important. Maybe someone got hurt or is dying and needs to be ferried on into the afterlife. But you don't hear any commotion outside that you would normally hear. You actually don't hear much of anything. And as you're very slowly going, you suddenly hear this kind of crunching sound underneath your feet. And you look down, and there's snow on the ground. You're in a fully contained building, and there's about 2 inches of snow on the ground. And as you step into it, you can hear the snow crunching beneath your feet. You can see your footprints. And the snow is continuing to fall.
I bent down and picked up some. And I run it with my finger.
It's cold. It's wet. It's remarkably snow-like. Do you want to taste some of it?
Sure.
So as you sit there, you bring it up, you're like... you spit it out. It tastes like ash. And as you kind of... like there's grit on your tongue. Like you've just, licked an oven after it was off or something. And you think, well, maybe it's just cold ash that's falling. But no, it melts in your hand. Your hands are wet, but it tastes like ash.
Is there like an outer central area?
The way the cathedral is set up is you have kind of an antechamber at the west part. That's where everyone comes in. There's big old double doors, and there is a set of very large pillars that kind of divide that little open area from the rest. Right after that, you have pews. Lots and lots and lots of pews. And then there is a large area with a kneeling rail, and then steps that go up a few feet. And there's the podium that services are held at, and then steps that go up, and then there's an altar to the Dark Lady. You are currently in the pew area.
I don't know how I would do that, but could there won't be how whether it is a dream or vision or not reality.
Yeah.
Basically.
Make me a flat wisdom check.
Let's
All right. As you're trying to kind of process this and figure out what's going on, your brain is telling you this cannot be real.
Yeah.
It doesn't snow into the doors. It doesn't snow in Scornmote. And as you're doing this, you're kind of thinking, and you're pacing a little bit. Yeah, like all of it, you're like, this isn't possible. You're kind of wandering around a little bit, and you trip. Not enough to fall, but you kind of, what the? And you look, and there is a large square stone next to one of the pews, which seems really, really weird. And you notice the pew is splintered, like the stone fell on it. And as you look up, there's no roof on the cathedral. And you look around, some of the pillars have toppled. The walls are partially missing. You look like you are in a ruin.
Does it still crumble around?
Make a history check for me.
Oh man, that one
Yeah.
7 total.
As you're looking around, you're not really sure what's happened. Like, you were... The image of the cathedral in ruins is such an alien idea to you that you can't even process, was it attacked? Does it look like this is just, centuries of neglect? None of that is even processing. Your brain is still saying to you, this isn't possible.
I could help myself up and can I see him? Can the ruins of the altar should be?
I didn't get that last part. What did you say?
Can I see kind of the ruins of where the altar should be?
Yes. The altar to the Dark Lady is the only thing that doesn't appear to be in ruins. It looks pristine, and as you kind of look at it, it's glowing, this kind of deep indigo.
I want for that.
Okay. As you get up there, you notice the podium that the high priest will speak at, or whoever's speaking, is still there, and doesn't seem to be in ruins yet. But as you get closer, the wood itself that it's made out of looks wrong. And as you get closer and closer, it's kind of warped and rotten, and there's fungus growing out of it, and there's something inside it. You can see kind of writhing and wriggling, like maybe termites or something, but it just seems very, very wrong. And the closer you get to it, you start to get this smell of decay, and you can feel it in the back of your throat, that kind of acidic feeling. And as you get even closer, you suddenly see the altar itself glows really brightly, and this bolt of deep indigo light goes and strikes the podium, and it explodes, raining down chunks of filth and rot and decrepitness all around you. And as you look at it, the podium itself is leaking blood in a way that wooden podiums shouldn't. I'm not sure if there is a way that they should. Most of the ones I'm familiar with don't do that, but this one is. As you're kind of looking there, and you're looking at this altar to the Dark Lady, which is it's a kind of stone platform that you would put offerings on, and then this large kind of semicircular thing that has the Dark Lady's holy symbol emblazoned on it. There are no kind of depictions of any of the gods. It's always only their holy symbol. And as you look at it, the holy symbol itself starts to kind of smoke a little bit, and then you see it starts burning the altar itself, and the altar starts to kind of writhe and melt, while the holy symbol just stands there. And the longer this happens, the more absolutely certain you are of this feeling that this is wrong. It's just over and over in your mind. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. And suddenly you feel a hand on your shoulder. And you immediately turn around to see a priest. Not one you've interacted with a lot. But he's sitting there, he's like, "Are you okay?"
What going on here? Is I point to like all the ruined pews and the ruined podium.
And as you kind of point, the pews are fine. The podium is fine. There's no snow. The roof looks majestic. It is a very lovely cathedral. And he kind of looks, he's like, "We don't have any services today.
Oh,
Are you... Is there something you need to talk with me about? I'm here for the rest of the city, but you know, any of the acolytes, they can talk to anyone if they need to. Are you all right, lass?"
yeah, yeah, and the way we can speak in private.
Of course. We have a room right over here, if you need to speak. And there various little like offices off of the cathedral where people can have a private conversation with someone. And so he very kind of casually, you see him go, and there are ropes along the wall that are connected to bells in other parts of the church. So if he does have to leave, he's supposed to pull on one of these, and someone else comes out to kind of to take his spot. And so he goes, and you hear the bell way off. "Come with me, lass." And he takes you into a somewhat just a small room. It's large enough for 2 chairs and a table. And he sits down, and he goes, "What's troubling you?"
I had some trouble sleeping last night. I had a dream, and I'll describe what I
Okay.
experienced, but I'll say it, I'll refer to it as a dream.
Okay. Well, I know the first night of a punishment can be rather difficult, and denying yourself food and things like that can cause some rather strange things to happen in your mind. Perhaps the guilt you feel for whatever it is that you did that made you deserve to be punished. Perhaps that's manifesting as these very unpleasant experiences. I can tell you, the Dark Lady doesn't speak to someone as low as you are. So don't worry about this being some sort of a message or anything. It's probably your own heart trying to talk to you because you're not listening to it. Your own feeling of right and wrong. Whatever it is that you did wrong, you're feeling that you've not done enough to pay for it. I would just say, go to the priest that put you on punishment. Apologize again and ask for more strenuous punishment. I think you don't feel that you're being punished enough.
Yeah.
And he kind of stops and he puts his hand on your shoulder again. It's good that you feel this way. 'Cause it means you know that you did wrong. There's some people, they don't know and they do wrong. They don't know themselves well enough. So the fact that you are punishing yourself when you've done something wrong is good. It's right. So don't be ashamed about this. Go and tell the high priest what you told me. She'll be proud that you're taking this seriously. This may be even enough for you to maybe make it out of the Acolyte program. It's a good sign. All right?
No, Papa, thank you, Father.
That's what I'm here for. Remember, if there's ever anything weighing on your heart, you can always speak to the priests. I know a lot of the Acolytes think because their goal is to eventually become a priest, that they can't come to us anymore like the regular folk do. That's not true. We're here to minister to you just as much as we are to minister to the people of Scornmote. All right? Good. Now, I believe you're going to be late to your punishment. So you better go meet with the high priest rather quickly, or you might get extra punishment on top of the punishment that you're going to be asking for.
Yeah, I'll go right away.
All right. And while that's happening, Henri, Vala, Argigenta, you've been trying to figure out why Commander won't wake up. Nothing you guys have done has had any of effect on him.
And I believe the reason we're trying to wake him up, I believe last night I tried messaging Lillian,
Mm-hmm.
and I heard her respond back with, "I should have never let you into town."
Mm-hmm.
So we put two and two together and realized, oh god, that was her. Quick, everybody wake up, let's play what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
The commander won't wake up.
And yeah, you're using everything you can think of. Nothing is rousing. He's breathing. He doesn't feel cold to the touch or he doesn't have a fever or anything. He's just completely incapable of waking.
Argenta, I know what we need to do to wake him up. And
Right.
I'll begin casting now.
Bonfire!
Exactly.
You have some hand covered in gunpowder.
Now I got a Christmas song stuck in my head about chestnuts.
Commander, come out to play.
I can try to see if he's under some type of I can try to see if he's under some type of magical spell.
Sure.
So I
How
will
do you
use,
want to do that?
Ritually casting Identify.
Okay. So, yeah, you go through the ritual. It takes about 10 minutes. And as you finish casting, there's no sleep spell, nothing that would explain why he's not waking up.
Hmm.
I mean, you were so keen to do it to try and get into town. Why don't you read his mind?
Is this the morning?
It's pre-dawn. Very
Okay,
similar to the
so-
time to when Lillian woke up. That's just the same time because you guys have been trying this for a little bit at the time.
I would say, have we gotten our long rest in or no?
Yes, you would have a
Okay.
long rest.
Alright. In that case, I will cast Detect Thoughts at 2nd level.
Okay. So, as you sit there and you start to look for surface thoughts, there are none, which is not uncommon with someone who's asleep. A lot of the times you do need to delve at least a little bit deeper because most of their thoughts are subconscious as they're asleep.
I will dive further.
Okay. As you do, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, why didn't I take the Warcaster feat?
This is
12.
not a concentration
concentration.
check.
But a 12.
Okay. So as you sit there and kind of start delving in a little bit deeper, you suddenly feel very, very hot. And in your mind's eye, you see this brilliant kind of orange flash of light. And a sword swinging directly at you. And it seems so real that you jump back to get out of the way. Hold please. Into Henri as you collide with him and hit the ground. You lose an additional 2nd level spell slot. And will be unable to concentrate on a spell for the next hour.
Wow, the graphics in there were so lifelike. I felt.
As you're kind of untangling yourself from Henri, suddenly Commander bolts upright with kind of a start. And he has Fury out, aiming at nothing currently.
Hey, it worked.
That's one way. Commander, are you okay?
I don't know.
You have one vivid imagination.
Yeah, you're not joking. Are we still... What time is it?
It's just before dawn.
Yeah, we're about to go grab breakfast in Celeste's lair. Fucking with you.
I tilted my head and we're like, you can't see me. But okay. Uh,
We have good news. I know where Liliana is.
that is good news.
Ish. You remember the 3 individuals we met yesterday?
Kinda.
The one doing the talking was Liliane.
Huh. Okay.
We tried to wake you up to tell you, but you didn't want to wake up.
Do I notice anything new either on my person or anything on the gun, Jody?
The sight on the gun that had been missing before is back, and the gun itself feels different.
So what are we gonna do?
I will
anything we-
point out, Commander, you are still pointing your gun with your finger on the trigger. Since
Oh.
you woke up, you have not stopped doing that yet.
Do I see if I'm pointing at a certain thing?
No, you're just in the dream. You were pointing at something, and you had that extra hand helping steady your aim. Now you're pointing at a log.
Do you want me to burn the log?
No, it's fine. Can I move my arm? Do I have control?
You don't 100% know. You haven't tried to do it yet, which is a bizarre thought to have. But that's what it is. Do you want to put the gun away? What do you want to try to do?
I want to just bend my elbow and pull it closer to look at it.
Okay, and at first your arm doesn't respond, like it's someone else's arm, and you're just trying to will it, and slowly but surely you feel it start coming back under your control, and you twist the gun a little bit, you bend your elbow, you bring the gun a little bit closer. What are you looking for specifically on the gun?
That sight on the end of the barrel.
Yeah.
And I'll open the chambers, or break it open and look, and everything's still there. Nothing's been fired.
Yeah. The bullets seem to be there. You generally don't sleep with it loaded because bad things can happen.
True.
But the gun seems in working order. As you look at the barrels themselves, there is definitely something different about them. The metal has taken on a different color. The edges have kind of a discoloring.
Like a burn.
Not so much a burn. It almost looks like the metal itself was somehow stained.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen like dyed metal, but the very edges of the inside of the barrel have kind of an orange tint to them. That if you weren't looking really close, you probably wouldn't even notice it. And as you kind of turn the barrels, you notice that the sight, once the barrel is turned, the sight flattens itself back into the gun, and the next barrel comes up and the sight pops up.
That's new.
And as you focus on a little bit more and you turn it off a few more times, it keeps doing that. And then as you stop kind of focusing so intently on it, all the sights just lay back down flat.
Okay. That was a weird dream.
Are you okay?
I feel weird. This, and I hold the gun up. It's different. I didn't put those on there.
It's the exact same to me. Then again, I never paid attention.
No, I know.
My only experience with weapons involve other planes. So
Yeah,
there's that.
we've heard that like so many times, dude. Keep rubbing it
Dude.
in. We know you went on vacation to a water world. Jeez.
Kevin Costner is there. Is good, great.
Thank you for getting that.
Oh my god, is Kevin Costner your patron?
Rework again.
He wasn't before, but
Hey,
no.
if you make it, they will come.
Okay. All right.
take
sir.
inspiration for that.
Movie, come on.
Baseball
Oh my-
movies are the superior sports movies, folks.
Yeah.
Baseball is a much better movie than football to make a sport to make a movie out of.
Just remember, the rose goes in front. Anyways,
Now I gotta work up my Kevin Costner impression.
oh no, oh no.
So you don't know. I mean, there was nobody else here last night that could have tampered with it.
I mean, I don't know anyone here that could.
I mean, we could tamper with it. He'd probably just destroy it.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
Right. I mean, now that you mention it, and I will pull out my flute and be like, now that you mention it, I did find this in my bag the other day.
And as you guys look, you can see what he's referring to as a flute is very clearly a dagger. But the blade itself, the metal, doesn't seem to have been formed or forged right. It looks like a flame was quite literally frozen and cast in metal. And then as you look closer, there are holes in the dagger. And the pommel of the dagger, there are holes in that as well. And it looks like the pommel can rotate.
And I'll just play a little tune on my flute dagger.
So
Why
is that
is
part of
this-
your death metal band?
Suddenly,
What?
a giant mechanical dragon comes out of the water.
Yeah.
You hear
Is
a
it-
strange kid go, "We need dinosaur power!" No. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But no, the dagger flute, the thing, sounds really nice. It has kind of a haunting tone to it. Very much like an open... I'm going to make a reference that band geeks, non-band geeks may not know, but an open hole flute kind of sound.
Oh, okay.
Or like a wooden flute almost, where it's got that kind of hollow, almost wailing kind of sound.
Kind of like a Native American flute.
Similar.
Yeah.
A little bit
Okay.
breathy.
And I mean, at the same time you found the dagger, I reached for my jacket and I got this cloak instead. Just kind of readjusts it on herself.
And as you guys watch, as she puts the cloak on, something about the cloak is strange. Like it seems to exist in multiple places simultaneously. Those of you with magical, the ability to cast spells, would note that it's not like a blur spell or something like that, where it's just, it literally looks like it's kind of sitting on her shoulders and then sitting on her shoulders in a different position simultaneously.
So I see how it is. I'm tortured for a year. You guys get all this fun stuff.
Hey, you've got that whippy thing. That's pretty cool.
Again, I'm fucking with you.
It's so unusual.
Yeah. A little unnerving.
You know, it's not unusual to be loved by anyone.
I knew you were going there.
Oh, God. Really?
Ba-da-da-da-da.
Ba-da-da-da-da. Sorry. Continue. I had
God.
to.
Oh, sweet Caroline.
Don't.
Ba, ba, ba. I'm sorry.
Dang it, Jody. You had to go for the low-hanging fruit.
So, as you guys are all, looking at your Christmas presents,
Right. Somebody. I wonder if somebody's trying to help us. Or the Dark Lord is pulling a tremendous prank.
Yeah.
Either are very, very good choices.
I can only think of one person who's been trying to help, and, well, she creeps me out, and that's saying something.
Oh, yeah, her.
Have I met her? I think so.
I
yes.
think once in Nidenwald, or before
Yeah.
Nidenwald.
Well,
I think she's
Everyone
the
except
only reason-
Liliane has spoken to her at least once. Commander is old for friends at this point.
This is true.
You're relatively certain you may be asked to be a godfather to one of her grandkids eventually here.
How many greats would be in front of that by now?
She'll never
17.
to tell.
Yeah, right?
So, do we recall if our nameless friend was meeting us this day, or the one that was going to help essentially escort them to Lillian while I was waiting on the outskirts?
I don't think we set up like an appointment to meet with him. He left us this, and I'll pull up the sending stone. We have this so we can communicate with him if we need to, but I think the tax collectors are coming today. So time is of the essence.
I think you and I are both staying outside, right, Henri?
Oh, I'm not going in there.
Yeah, I think I was going to stay out with you.
Place reminds me a little too much of my past, and I don't want to relive that.
And we know that the gates have an anti-magic property to them, so we can't go in with spells. We have to do it the old-fashioned way.
Again, I'm more than willing to say that I need to find religion. We know Lilianne's is with the church.
I mean, there are no walls in the town either. We could just try and sneak in.
I will be on my best behavior.
So,
Well.
only one house will burn down.
Yeah, give her some credit. Probably about 3.
You know... Well, Argenta, shall we try to get into town?
I think so.
Alright then. Let's
Okay,
have
well-
breakfast first.
I think, Commander, you and I should find a spot that's not a campground where we can overlook the road and
Yeah.
the entrance, just in case if we're needed or need to cause a dispersion of some kind.
Yeah, I agree.
Or, you can just be my next meal, whenever that is.
Oh, I'd rather not, but, what happens, happens, I suppose.
I believe he's high in omega fatty acids, so I mean that's the good kind of a fat.
Sir,
Henri
I am
licks his
trim,
lips.
thank you very much.
Henri licks his lips.
I step 3 feet away.
I would like to use prestidigitation to make a mesquite smell start coming off, Commander.
I pulled my gun to hold it towards Vala. Stop it.
You do notice as you pull the gun out as kind of a joke, you kind of just naturally look down, and as you focus with your finger off the trigger, because you have good trigger discipline,
Yeah.
as you focus, you watch as your eye goes to where the sight should be. It flips up, and then as you kind of blink and stop it, it goes back to the down.
You saw that, right?
I believe me, that will haunt my nightmares. Yes.
I didn't.
Just
I don't know how to do what.
I will make the scent of mesquite go away and replace it with a very faint bakery like roll smell.
That's
How
not any
hungry is
better. What are you
act-
doing?
Now
Very
Henry's
faint.
actually hungry.
And then I will start getting breakfast together quickly.
I mean,
Put the gun away.
The
could have her identify it, Commander, if you're really that weirded out by it.
Could try that too.
I mean, if I don't want you guys wasting spells.
I can do it via ritual, and it will be fine.
But we need to get moving on because doesn't that take time or something?
It'll take 11 minutes.
And I'm pretty sure right now every minute is worth everything right now.
Okay. Then no omelets.
but you set
I'll
up the omelet station.
I know. But I will get out the chicken waffles. There are standards.
Yeah, I was at a buffet a week ago. I'm good.
Oh God, that was dark. All right, so yeah, me and Argenta, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready when you are.
All right, Argenta and I will head off into the town.
All right. As you guys just start heading into town, are you going to try to contact? Did someone write down? Because again, my brain is gone, and I don't have notes for that particular character. Did I give him a name?
No,
Okay.
we didn't want to get names to
Yeah.
keep plausible
So,
deniability.
We'll call the constable. Were you going to contact the constable or no?
Think we should let him know, Argenta?
I mean, he was going to let us in, but he also kind of alluded the fact that we just kind of snuck in. He'd ignore us.
So I will use the sending stone to contact the constable and tell him that Argenta and I are going to come into the town and try to make it to the church. Do you have any suggestions as to where we should go?
As you're sitting there kind of waiting for a second, you suddenly hear something that doesn't sound quite right. No, boys, what I'm saying is I think that I think we need to really focus on the northeast side of this city. I feel like someone's going to try and get in through the northeast side of this city. We don't even need to worry about the southern gate. I think that's going to be pretty safe. No, I want everyone to focus on the northeast gate. I think we're going to have some trouble today. Possibly those boys that are out there. I don't think they've quite accepted that they're not gonna be allowed in. So yeah, focus. I want 6 men on the gate itself, the northeastern gate. And then I want another dozen throughout the northeastern part of the town. Going all the way back to, well, you know what, we could ignore the church itself. There's so many people there, we don't need to worry about it. But the northeastern gate, that's where I think it's gonna be.
So
No, I'm not acting strange at all. Why would you say that? And then it stops.
I'll turn to Argenta and say, so I think we need to go to the northeast. Wait, no. Southern gate. He just kept saying the northeast. It just kept throwing me off. Southern gate, I think is where he wants us to go.
Alright, let's go to the southern gate then.
Okay.
Could we kind of be out by the northeastern to kind of create a diversion, like just by being there, not going in?
I don't think that's a wise choice. I think we need to watch. Don't go anywhere near him, though.
I mean, my first instinct is to set fire to the forest out there. But-
Your instinct is to set fire to everything.
Somehow,
It really
I
is.
think because of this place, it won't catch fire just to torture you.
Fine, we'll set fire to the forest.
You already burnt one forest already.
But I have bigger booms now.
Oh, God.
I had to do it the hard way last time.
All right, you ladies have fun.
Yeah. Be quiet. Be careful.
I'll let you know if we run into trouble.
All right.
As you all are heading down to the southern part of Scorn, doing your best to stay well outside the city limits. You're not observed. Liliane, by the way, by the time you guys are getting out, dawn has happened and passed. So at this point, you're like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. Sun is just barely above the horizon. Liliane, after you finish your conversation with the priest, do you want to go talk to the high priest like he told you? Do you want to go back to your room to get, dressed for your punishment? What are you thinking?
I'll go get dressed in my room. First thing, everybody still getting into it while feeling.
It's not as strong as it was before the vision or whatever it is, but still just like at the very back of your mind, you still feel off. But it's not so uncomfortable now that you can't just push it away and ignore it.
I will go in my room and get ready.
As you get there, you find Terrace coming to your door, and she's just about to knock when she... Oh, hi, Liliane. And she's kind of confused for a second. Early to the day?
Yeah, I had some trouble sleeping, so I decided to help talk to the kitchen.
Well, can I talk to you for a second in your room?
Yeah, I quit it all. Open it.
Okay.
Quit outside.
And as you could close the door, she reaches into a belt pouch and she brings out another good berry. Didn't want you
Thank you again.
go hungry to the day. And she kind of looks at you because you're wearing kind of I guess closer to like an undershirt and
Yeah.
stuff. So you can, like, she can see your bare arms and stuff, and you've got a couple bruises and the things like that just from working really, really hard and dropping to the things. And so she kind of sees it's like, oh, that. I don't think don't think this would be against the rules. And she very quickly kind of hums an incantation under her breath, and you feel healing energy kind of radiate from her hand into your arms, and the bruises could go away, and you actually feel pretty good.
Oh, I got probably wasn't the boo that was take you for that.
No problem. I think the high priestess was just. I think she was overreacting. I think she's just stressed. So, don't tell her I said that though. She'll get so mad. I'll be out there with you.
Yeah, no, I won't tell him you said that. I know that because of feeling anger, to be honest.
I've got to, but breakfast isn't for 5 minutes, so I've got to go. It'll seem weird if we walk together, but
Yeah.
good luck with your punishment. And she kind of rushes out to the door.
Thanks.
So you get your punishment clothing, which is, again, it's just working clothes. They're ratty and old, so it doesn't matter if they get dirty and torn and stuff. It's all it is. And you hear the bell to bring people to breakfast rung. I totally forgot to change this as a sound effects. Yeah. Do you head down to breakfast? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'll go down for breakfast.
Okay. Breakfast itself is unpleasant. Though the fact that you have the good berry, did you eat the good berry or no?
Yeah, I quit it before a while.
Okay. So the fact that you ate the good berry, it's not nearly as torturous as it has been, because watching other people eat when you're not allowed to do it is very unpleasant. So you kind of sit there in silence the way you're supposed to. You can see the priest that you spoke to. He is actually at the same table that you're at, about 7 people away. And he hasn't acknowledged you or anything like that. He's having a conversation with another one of the priests. The priests are the only ones that are allowed to talk during meals. And they're supposed to only be discussing things involving, the Dark Lady or, business effectively, though they rarely ever do. And then you notice the High Priestess, who normally she has her own private, or he, I'm so sorry, has his own private dining room. Is it? I'm having a hard time remembering.
I think it was here.
Okay, so he has his own private dining room. So you very rarely ever see him at morning meals, and he generally will have a special meal prepared for him. Everyone else generally eats bread and some sort of like porridge or gruel or something similar, something cheap to make and packed with a lot of calories. But he's out here. And he's sitting at the head of your table. Eating much better than everyone else. He has cooked meats and fruits and the things like that, but he's eating out here with all of you. and he keeps staring at you. Like, not like, but he'll like eat, and then every time you kind of bring your eyes up to kind of look over to him, you guys kind of meet eyes for a second. And then out of force of habit, you just kind of break them.
Yeah.
But he seems to be keeping an eye on you, which is very weird.
Yeah.
But the rest of breakfast passes normally. It's weird to be able to smell cooked meat, because again, no one ever eats it for breakfast other than the high priest. So you can see other acolytes are a little bit miffed. They wouldn't say anything, but you can see it in their face. They're like, bread, bacon, bread, bacon. But everyone starts kind of cleaning up and getting ready to leave. And after everyone's kind of shuffled out, the high priest is still sitting there. No food in front of him anymore, just sitting there, staring at you.
I'll walk up to him, and I'll say, I have something I want to talk to you about.
Oh, I'm aware. Something that this important should not have waited. I'm very disappointed in you. It has come to my attention that you believe the Dark Lady is speaking to you. And that is not true. I am the only one the Dark Lady speaks to. That is my purpose in this church, is to interpret her words and her will, and it is blasphemy that you would dare even imply that someone so worthless would be exalted to a higher position than her chosen mouthpiece to this city. And every time he says something and you feel kind of his anger sprayed up, that little thing in the back of your head flares for just a second. And as it keeps going, you start hearing something. You can't figure it out, but it sounds like there's a word that keeps being said. So you're going to explain to me why you felt that it was permissible to wait until after breakfast to explain your blasphemous nature.
Well, I simply didn't want to be late to my punishment.
You didn't want to be late for your punishment. You are blaspheming the Dark Lady, and you don't want to be late. Okay, so now that we both know that that's a lie, how about we have a real discussion? And you watch as someone starts coming in. Did I say? And he turns to one of the acolytes, that you could enter this space? Oh no no no! I didn't know. I did not give you permission to speak. You will leave this place immediately, and in 2 hours you will meet in my office, where I can decide on your punishment. And the priest that walked in looks utterly confused. He goes, "Do not speak. Go!" And he kind of trips over himself out of the way. And every time his anger flares up, that little wrong feeling in the back of your head flares for a second. And there's somebody is saying something. You can hear it. There's a word, but you just can't pick it out. But it's a single syllable. Now, I knew you were a bad egg the second you showed up here, but I showed you mercy. You feel it flare again. No. I was kind to you. No. I, out of the kindness of my heart and in all of the mercy that the Dark Lady has given me, no. Decided to allow you, no. To into my church to teach you the true way, and now it feels like someone is screaming in your ear. No, no, no. And it's starting to hurt. Like it's like someone's yelling right into your ear. You're starting to wince. What? Am I speaking too loud for you now? But the Dark Lady speaks to you, and you have no problem hearing her divine voice. Another no, right in your ear. What would you like to do?
I'll say, I wasn't sure if it was a Dark Lady thought it would be. I mean, I told the police, I just thought it was a dream, but
As your
sister, now,
really quick. As your sister saying this, you see as as you're speaking, you saw him start to get ready to cut you off, and nothing came out. And you're able to just continue speaking, and you see him getting more and more angry, but he's not stopping you. Go ahead.
but hearing you now, listening to you, I know now that it was the Dark Lady. I know she was trying to tell me something, and she will be now. And it only taken you to make me understand what exactly she was trying to tell me. And that is that yes, and I said, it's all right. This isn't what she wants. This isn't who she is. She about that, yes. But the opposite side of that corner of life and be able to live. And in my time here, I mean, the only thing it means to now to figure out, but in my I haven't been ready. I am bothered to what you were telling me, but I allow myself dying anyway. But that isn't what she wants.
And as you kind of finish your thought, you can see his face is getting redder and redder, and you see him kind of gripping the table, and you see the table start to splinter. And this is a very thick, heavy, large table, and it starts to splinter under his grip. And he gets more and more angry.
Is it still unable to speak?
When you stop speaking, he seems to regain his voice. He goes, "You harlot! I should have thrown you in the gutter. If your father could see you now, he'd disown you. You disgusting piece of filth." As this is happening, Vala and Argenta, the southern gate is empty. And by empty, I mean there is a small guardhouse there. Just big enough for a chair and some tables. You've seen very similar things in other towns. There's not only no guards here, there is no one here. You don't see anything. Wait, no, that works. Sorry, picking the correct mood music. There is no one here.
Oh, that's good.
What makes this easier? I don't know about you, but I have the feeling like somebody up there needs to be set on fire. It's just the tingling that runs in the back of my head most days. We should hurry, though.
I should, and I just pull the cloak over my head. Keep walking. Head for the church, then.
Yep. Kind of keeping an eye out for people and trying to make sure we're avoiding them.
As you guys go in, you're very, very observant. There's no one into the town. Every door you will walk past, there's no one here.
Think the constable got people out?
Maybe. Or something's up. But either way.
As you guys make your way through this city, you don't find a single soul. And you come to the church itself, and you can see, while there are kind of side doors all over it, the main kind of entrance to the church is these two massive wooden domes that are carved with these intricate depictions of gravestones and graveyards and just a lot of different symbols for death and decay. Nowhere on there, though, is the symbol of the Dark Lady, which seems odd to you. Again, big churches to the Dark Lady don't generally tend to exist, other than in Valakukovia, in the Temple of the Dark Lady. But normally there's something that indicates her holy symbol, and this doesn't. There's bodies on it, there's death and decay, executions and burials, but no bodies. Another thing that's a little bit weird is the doors are open, wide open. They open outward, and they are both open. It's very, very, or no, they open inward. Sorry, it's very bizarre to say the least.
And no signs of people around still?
Still nothing, but you can hear voices coming from inside. Specifically, one very loud, very angry voice.
Well, I guess this is where we're supposed to go.
Yeah. Let's go in, shall we?
Yep.
As you could go in, you see this kind of little antechamber that's separated by these pillars. The floors are carved as a stone. Absolutely gorgeous. On the other side of the pillars are these pews that are all like cherry wood, lacquered, amazing pews. You can see this whole area. You can see the dais or whatever it is, and then you can see the altar on there, and you can see there's a door open to the side that looks like it opens up to the rest of the church, and the voice is coming from there, and it's getting louder and more angry.
I say we follow the voice.
I think so, yeah.
As you guys go further in, having dealt with a lot of people in various states of emotion, especially when they're drinking, you can tell pretty well when a fight is about to break out. And you're very familiar with the phrase fighting words. And you can't understand the words themselves, but you understand the inflection. Whoever is saying this stuff is about to swing. And then, like that, it stops. And then you hear a much softer, much calmer voice that you still can't understand what it's saying, but it seems to be speaking. Coming from the same area.
Trying to de-escalate things? Like, is there a calming tone to it, or just more...
It's not really calming. You feel confidence in it. Doesn't really feel like a de-escalation as much as it is just a rebuttal without emotion.
I've seen enough bar fights where the wife is or the wife or the girlfriend is getting rid of her man, and he's all, and she's just like, no, I'm over it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What do you guys want to do?
Where is this area? Like, does it seem far away? Is it like there's just
you guys think you're relatively close? It's coming through this kind of regular sized door, and as you kind of look down, you can see there's a hallway, and then there's a set of double doors that again are open, and it seems that the voice is coming from whatever room that is. Having never been in this church before, you don't really know what room it's coming from, but due to the acoustics and everything, it's a big room.
There's nobody around, correct?
Not that you can see.
And I've seen the people that we saw yesterday. Did they have like a traveling cloak with a hood?
Yes, but they also wore vestments under it that kind of declared them as members of the church.
Excellent. I will use disguise self to make myself appear as like in those vestments as best as I can imagine what they were that I saw at a distance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys got relatively close, so you would have enough to create a fairly believable disguise, probably from within a few feet. If someone came right next to you, they might be able to notice something.
Yep. So I'll do that and kind of throw the hood over my head or magic the hood over my head.
And as you could come in, you see Lillian talking very candidly to this person who is turning various shades of red and purple. And he seems to try to be speaking, but he's not. And then you see his hand on this very, very large, heavy to the table that is splintering under his grip, which you know isn't really possible. Even the strongest barbarian you know would have a hard time doing that.
Who is next to me?
Mm-hmm. But you hear the tail end of the conversation that Lillian just had. And you kind of wander in and you see him call her a harlot. And he mentions her father and all those things. And it doesn't seem that he's noticed you just yet. Lillian, as you're standing there, you suddenly start feeling more confident about yourself. The fatigue and the weight of just the agony and depression that has been kind of driving you for months and months and months is starting to lift. And as you feel the lift off the rest of your body, you start breathing easier. It feels like your chest is lighter, your shoulders are a little lighter, your legs are lighter, but you feel a weight on your hip. A very familiar weight. And you just very casually bring your hand to rest on the hilt of your sword, which you didn't bring with you. What would you like to do?
You're muted, Lillian.
Eddie's telling me a harlot and telling me my father will be a son. I just that one.
Okay. Go ahead and make me an attack roll, strength-based attack roll. You can have an advantage on this, by the way.
Oh, there we go. 19.
So you sit there and you bring your fist. You go and you swing towards him. As it connects with his jaw, you feel a feeling you haven't felt in a long time of a jaw breaking. Apparently he has a glass jaw. As you sit there, you feel that kind of crunching feeling as you separate the bone right here, and it goes, and you watch him go, and he spits some blood, and he puts it back into place. And he spits the blood. And something about him is very, very different. He seems larger than before. You've never envisioned him as a very strength-based person. He has this incredible presence that makes him seem very strong, but he's never been buff. But as he's sitting there and he spits, you could swear his shoulders look twice as broad as they were before, and he looks taller. And he smiles, wipes his hand. Be glad that I sent that decrepit excuse for a blood hunter to Ilmorn to be tortured and killed, so he didn't have to see me destroy you.
Oh.
What would you like to do? All of the three of you have heard that at this point.
well, one thing when I put the my head, I say, you know that my father, but, when he said that, I was Robert Ford, and, have been, yeah, raising it.
Okay.
I forget the name of it. So on.
As you pull the sword out, you cut your hand as you've done so many times before. You see the blade itself starts to glow, but instead of the bright white glow you're used to, it is still very, very bright, but now it is this deep indigo glow. And as you look, the pommel of your sword now has the symbol of the Dark Lady emblazoned on it, and it is glowing very brightly. As you point this is a sword. And then you watch as the high priest looks past you and focuses on something. So, too weak to do it yourself. And he locks eyes with you, Vavala.
Girls got each other's back, and let's see. That section of the room, how big is it? How much space is there behind him?
About to 20 feet.
Oh, that's beautiful. So for my bonus action, I would like to play a little tune on my flute.
Okay.
I would like to play the Borello of Rebirthed Embers.
Okay.
So I will play a little tune.
Mm-hmm.
Which will make my next spells damage fire, which is unnecessary, but will let me add my bardic inspiration to it.
Okay.
And then as my action, I'm going to cast the spell that I was born to cast. I will cast Fireball
Okay.
10 feet behind, and just... So I'll get him, but not Lillian.
Okay. As you... Lillian, you kind of look behind you and you see Vala. Vala wearing vestments. They don't suit her at all. Then you see her take out this strange looking dagger, and she puts it up. She plays it to the tune on it, which is weird. And you watch it, the blade itself, which looks like someone has literally frozen a flame and cast it in metal, starts to flicker. The metal starts to flicker like fire. And as she plays this kind of haunting sound, you watch as she opens her eyes, and there's this tiny ball of orange light in front of her that zips forward, goes straight past him, and then a huge explosion rips through the church, scorches the walls. You see the high priest in front of you cry out, and then waves his arms, and the explosion disappears. You have no idea who you're messing with. And then he bolts.
How far away is he from me?
You guys are about 60 feet away.
As he turns to run, I'm going to prime transition right next to him using my cloak.
Okay. So you guys watch as Argenta wraps herself in her cloak and flashes. It's been a while since I created that item. Remind me what it does.
I temporarily jaunt back to the material plane, and then I appear within a point 60 feet away from me.
Okay.
And I leave back a marker that I can teleport back to.
Okay. Cool. So you watch Vala, with you being right next to her. You watch as she goes away. On the floor, there's this small little kind of rune on the ground there. It's almost innocuous. If you didn't watch her leave, you probably wouldn't even notice it, but it's very clearly there. And she suddenly appears right next to him. As he sees you appear there, he swings this massive clawed hand. The hand is easily the size of your chest at this point.
Okay.
Wow, my good roll was a 6. 17, does that hit?
Nope.
Okay, so he sits there, and you just see this massive, almost like bear hand come swinging at you as you appear out of nowhere, and your reflexes take over. You just kind of bend down, and it goes right over you. What would you like to do?
Well, he's trying to run, so I'm going to grapple him.
Okay, go ahead and make me a strength athletics check.
19.
He gets 8 to 20, unfortunately. As you go ahead.
Oh, go.
Sorry, I just wanted to. He needs to make a dexterity saving throw against my fireball.
Oh, he failed.
Oh, excellent. He takes 41 points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, he took more than that because he absorbed the rest of the explosion.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, I'm not going to say how much damage he took, but he's in a very, very different position than you are all currently aware of.
Okay. I rolled a lot of dice.
Yeah, you did very, very good. This is a very different creature. And the fact that you damaged him does mean something. Just
okay.
You will find out a little later.
Okay.
As you sit there and you try to kind of grab him, he literally picks you up, wrapping a single hand around your chest, lifts you, and slams you into the ground. Not enough to even wind you, but enough to make it so you couldn't grab on to anything. And then he, much faster than you think should be possible, bursts out the door, breaking the frame as he forces his way through it.
All right.
Did we see this?
You guys aren't in the church, so you're.
I thought he was running out. Sorry.
Yeah, you guys are outside this is a city, so this is really, really far away.
I will rush over to Lillian and make sure she's okay.
There's no visible, other than the wound she literally just made, there are no visible wounds.
Lillian, are you with us?
Yeah. We're going
Do we need to go after him?
Yeah.
Or should we just leave the city?
As you're standing there, Lillian, you start to feel hot. And you watch as your blade kind of touches your pants, and they sort of kind of catch with this blue flame that kind of creeps up and envelops the vestments that you're wearing, and they kind of burn away, and underneath them is a modified version of your original clothing, with on the back the symbol of the Dark Lady emblazoned.
Not gonna lie, that's really cool.
Argenta's just nodding.
And I will. Well, no. So did we go after her, or
Yeah.
it?
Okay.
And which way did they go?
Well, every step he took has left a rather large indentation in the floor, and every doorway he goes through has to be widened.
Got it. So
So-
easy to follow.
Yeah, not difficult at all. But again, he is moving unbelievably quick.
Is he leaving the church?
He's going away from you guys, which is away from the front door. But you don't know the church that well, so you're not sure.
Okay.
Lillian, he seems to be heading towards his office.
I
I
will
will
ask if we need backup.
Yeah, we probably should.
Then I will use sending to reach out to Commander and tell him we've got Henri.
You mean Lillian?
Or sorry, we've got Liliane.
We've got Henri. He's right. The call's coming from inside the house.
I just turn and look at him. Like, huh?
We've got Henri. No, wait, it's Liliane.
You're counting that, really?
There's a giant monster here. I think we're going to need help. Are you pooping? I think that's how you're
Using all of it. You're doing the thing. Okay.
We're in, and then it cuts out.
As you get this message, Commander,
Yeah.
you're distracted a little bit because you hear the sound of massive wings overhead.
Oh.
And as you look up, a enormous skeletal dragon is flying over you, heading directly for the church. Very similar to the one you guys saw in Ebenthorn. That went and destroyed the place you were going that I can't think of right now.
Yeah. Not really knowing magic, would I know that I can, or is that can I talk back with sending?
Yes.
Would I know that?
Yes. I'm looking directly at you, Vavala. I'm thinking the right spell. He can respond.
I believe so.
Yes.
I'm just
So-
sending her message.
You're probably both, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would know just because of how the magic works. You would know
Okay.
instinctively that you can apply.
I forgot that.
Uh,
Why did I ask if he was pooping?
You can reply to this message. Are you pooping? Are you having sex?
oh no.
Sorry.
Oh no.
Sorry.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
if you and Henri, that's totally fine. We're not judgmental out here.
Both have been through a lot, you know. It changes a person. Anyway, so what would you like to do, Commander?
Dang it, Jody.
Henri's a very nice guy. You've got a great guy.
Oh,
And
yeah,
he's
okay.
ripped after trading for a year in the plane of water. Like
Again,
he's got
my
like
own-
an 8 pack.
It's my own hyperbolic time chamber. Yo.
Yeah, right.
You throw off
Um,
your weighted clothing.
It wouldn't be a very coherent reply. It'd be like dragon, church, run, pooping?
So that's what you get. You get dragon, church, run, pooping.
Well, I mean, if I saw a dragon, I'd probably be pooping too. I will inform the others. Commander said there's a dragon at the church? Something about the dragon church. I don't know. Also, might be
Argento
pooping.
Argento will speak up at this point. She's just like, shit, and pulls out a jar of dirt, cracks it open, and I'll cast Long Strider on both of them with a second level slot.
You
Okay.
got your
There was a dragon that destroyed a vampire lair where we were after we had hurt him. You hurt him. I think it's going to destroy the church. We need to get the fuck out.
Oh, yes. That is probably. If that's what you guys think, then yes, we need to get out of here.
Oh,
God, do I? So yeah, lead the way, Lillian.
well, there's a dragon coming to leave. We still gonna go out with him.
To be perfectly honest, you don't know. What you've been told right now is a dragon is coming and it's going to destroy the church. That, to your knowledge, is filled with acolytes and
Yeah.
priests.
Uh,
So- Whatever you do with that information is up to you.
I we need to get people out of this way and please let the be evacuated and the dragon coming and destroy it.
Is there any, like, are there bells that can be rung to get people out of here quickly? We haven't seen anyone.
Well, the bell that I know the way bell for food and that,
There is a bell that summons everyone to the cathedral, which is right next to the door. So theoretically, that exists.
Can you point me in that direction?
yeah, I will.
Yeah, there's a bell tower next to the cathedral that you have to climb about to the 2 flights of stairs to get to where you can ring it, but it's back the way they came.
Is it like 30 feet up?
Yeah, roughly.
Okay. I'll get to the base, kind of look up, and then do Misty Step.
Okay.
And then start
Okay. So
finding ropes and yanking.
Vala has gone off to the bell tower. Argenta and Lillian, what do you guys want to do?
I'm gonna go to the where I put everyone to Congress looking at the bell start working.
Sorry. You want to go to where you think they're going to congregate when the bell starts
Yeah.
ringing? Okay, so you're going to go with Vala. Argenta.
I'm gonna go and look this. I'm gonna try and see if I can spot the dragon to see how long we have,
Okay.
roughly.
You see a door that you think leads out to the side. That's about 50 feet away from you. If you want to head that way, because right now you're in a building, you're not going to be able to see anything.
Yeah, I'll head that way.
Okay. So, Lillian and Vala, with the additional speed from the Long Strider, you guys make great time. You make it there. Lillian, you watch as Vala goes to the tower and then is gone. And then seconds later, you start hearing this very loud bell start ringing. Dong, 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 dong. And you can hear voices and the things like that. And with how just rapid the bell is ringing, people are coming a little bit faster than normal. But they all look very confused as they come in and they see you standing there wearing very, very different clothing than they think you should, and gripping a glowing sword. As that's going on, Argenta, as you burst out the door, you hear the of large skeletal wings flying overhead, and as you come out, I need a dexterity saving throw.
Hey. 14.
Okay. As you come out, you hear the sound. You look up to see this giant ball of emerald flame come screeching down, landing right next to you, and explodes. You to take 25 points of fire damage as it explodes right in your face and launches you back into the church about 5 feet. You can see the wall itself is caught on fire from the explosion. The dragon is literally right on top. It's just flown over the church, and you would assume is going to come back for another pass.
Oh, all right. I'm just going to yell out that the dragon's here already. I don't know if they're close or not, but
You guys hear somewhat faintly, because there's other voices coming up, that Argenta said that the dragon's here. Do you want to run back to them? Do you want to go back out to the side? What do you want to do?
I'll go back outside at this point.
Okay. So as you go through, you kind of have to cover yourself in your cloak for a second as you pass through the door that is now on fire, and you can see the town that there was no one in. Now there's lots of people, and they're yelling and they're running, and they seem to be upset for some odd reason. Vala, as you're standing there, you see acolytes and priests coming in, and they see you wearing very strange clothes and wielding a sword with the symbol of the Dark Lady on it. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was absurd.
And they hear an explosion, and finally you see Terrace and William come up. Terrace's like, Lillian, what are you wearing, and what's going on? Another explosion.
Don't worry about that now, sir. Help me get everyone as far away from this as possible.
And as you say that,
I'll give you after we do it that.
And as you say that, you see the priest that you'd spoken to before just start speaking up. We must all pray. Yes, pray right now. This is a test of our faith. And as soon as the high priest gets here, he will explain everything. Just everyone, please.
I'll come about the high priest and come here. Now do what I say and get away from you if you don't want to die.
And you hear another voice from behind you. That's blasphemy! And you look to see William looking at you with this look of disgust. How can you say that? Another explosion. You guys can feel the heat rush out the door as you watch Argenta come in. The high priest is the voice of the Dark Lady. And if you trying to tell us after wearing that disgusting... It's you that are wrong. I trusted you. You were my friend.
Are
you can keep me your hand. You can tell me whatever, but when you want that thing to kill you, I can let you live with everyone else.
If it is the Dark Lady's wish that my life end here, then she may gladly take it. And he
Is
pulls the dagger that he keeps on him to help people that need a little encouragement. He slices his palm and goes to the altar, places bloody palm on it, gets on his knees, and just stands there.
as he does that,
Okay.
I'm like, I just lean over to Lillian. Do you want him to live?
I will live for it, yeah.
I'll prime transition behind him,
Okay.
and before he can react, I want to knock him out.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. You didn't see it for the dagger, I was gonna pummel.
Okay. Did you have something
Sure.
to say, Vala?
As all of this is happening, and I hear Liliana say she wants these people to live, I'm going to try to position myself in such a way that I can get the most number of people into a 30-foot cone
Okay.
and have line of sight to the door.
All right.
And how long has it been since I had my experience with Commander? Has it been an hour?
Sure.
Excellent. Once I get into that position, I will cast Fear.
We'll say they're not in the state of mind to resist. And boom, a massive number of them rush out of the building. Argenta, how do you want to try and render him unconscious?
Just beam him in the back of the head with like the palm of my dagger.
Okay, go ahead and make me an attack roll with advantage.
All right. 17 plus 7, so 24.
Okay. So as you strike him in the back of the head, there is a burst of flame from where you strike him.
Yeah.
That almost makes you to drop the dagger. But you very quickly kind of route yourself. As you hit him, the impact hits him, and you see blood start to trickle down. But the blood itself, as soon as it hits oxygen, starts burning as it drips down the back of his neck. Roll damage.
Hey, Jody,
Alright.
Mm-hmm.
once Commander got that message, if he said anything, we probably would have been chasing after the dragon. We would have just been standing there.
Okay, cool. I'll say you'll probably arrive at the church. Not yet. There's a pretty decent distance you could cover.
Yeah, I was just letting you know.
Okay, thank you.
That's going to be, if I just marked them real quick, 9 damage total.
Okay. So as you do that, you see him start bleeding. You see his eyes go wide, or his pupils dilate. But he's still there. And his hand is still under the altar. And as you try to kind of move him, because your initial thought was pop and then grab, I'm just assuming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. As you try to move him, he's like a statue. Nothing you're doing is moving him at all. If you didn't know any better and you didn't see him bleeding in front of you, you would think he was made of stone and attached to the ground.
So it's not just his hand, it's like his entire body.
Yeah, but whatever is going on here, he is not moving, but he's not invulnerable like you did real damage to him. As you're sitting there, the windows behind the altar explode as another explosion of fire happens, and you're knocked back a little bit. Not enough to move you or anything, but you have to kind of protect yourself from falling glass. And you can see the face of this giant skeletal dragon just hovering there as the wings are going. And you see on the back of the dragon is that creature that you saw before, grinning with a smile that is far too large. The grin literally goes all the way back to its ears and has many, many, many more teeth than should exist in a mouth. And all of them are pointed.
And he's on the back of this dragon.
Mm-hmm. It seems to be riding it. Lillian, you would notice this as well. Vala, you're focused on scaring the shit out of people, which is working remarkably well.
Yeah, I'm like shouting behind them like "Rah!" as I'm like following them out to make sure I get line of sight on them until they're clear. So
the only ones that are left in the church now are the priest that was saying that everyone should pray, Terrace, William, and then the dragon and the high priest are just outside. And they've effectively blown part of the roof off at this point. The high priest. Sorry, say again.
What did he was doing?
She seems frozen. Like she's not moving. She's turned very, very pale, white.
I will tell her that if you can't get him, then I can't make it twice. And then I will physically put her to it and try to carry her away.
Okay. You haven't really used your strength a ton since being here, other than, working in that. But now that you have your sword back and you're back in fighting condition, you realize how much smaller Terrace is than you. And you just kind of basket carry her and book out just behind Vala. Argenta,
Yeah.
what would you like to do?
So how so under him, what's the floor like?
Under whom?
The kid I was trying to move.
Okay. The altar itself is all stone, and it's now covered with broken glass and splintered wood and fire.
All right, and so he placed his hand on it, and then he just became like a statue, pretty much.
Yeah, it's still flesh and blood, like he still feels like a human, but you cannot move him no matter what you do. Kind of is a similar, you've had hold person cast on you before some time. Very similar to the feeling of trying to fight hold person and failing. Your arms just feel as if something has made them solid.
Okay. I don't know if it'll do anything, but I think just because I have some powdered silver on me, cover my hands in it and cast protection from evil and good on him.
Ooh. Take some inspiration, because
All
that
right.
was very, very clever. You're not gonna like this. I need a wisdom save
All right.
at a disadvantage, unfortunately.
Okay. 14. Probably not high enough.
As the spell is cast, his body goes limp for a second. You see him blink. He goes, "Ow!" And he reaches back. His blood's no longer burning. He sees the blood. He sees the giant creature, and he runs. You, on the other hand, take the dagger in your hand, slice your hand, place it on the altar, and get on one knee.
Oh no.
As William runs out, he runs into you, Lillian. He kind of looks, and you see this look of pure disgust within himself. That he sees you, and he's so embarrassed and ashamed. And you see tears streaming down his face. And he just kind of pushes off of you and runs as fast as he can away from you. But Argenta doesn't come out of the church. At this point, Commander and Henri run up, and you guys can see Vala going, "Ooga booga booga!" And you see Lillian with a girl in her arms. But you don't see Argenta anywhere.
I see them though, right?
Yeah, you see Commander and Henri run in.
Argenta is to try see you can get her out.
From where you are, because again the doors are so massive, you can see clear into the altar, and you can see Argenta seems to have taken the same spot that William had before. And you can see the dragon behind, and you can see the dragon is inhaling, and you can see fire starting to kind of gather in its throat.
How much time would you say I have before the dragon breathes?
You're not sure. What do you want to do?
Just to determine if. Okay, I will dimension door so that I'm in front of Argenta. And is the dragon in front of Argenta?
Yes. It's in the air about 25, 30 feet in front of him.
Okay, I'll try and essentially put myself in front of Argenta and in the way of the dragon.
Okay.
And just brace for what's about to happen. I'm trying to take the brunt of it for her.
Okay.
God. Save them slots.
All right. If you wanted to take the brunt, you are allowed to choose to fail a saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what you want, don't roll a dex save for me.
Okay. But I will use my invocation to gain 120 temporary hit points. and
Okay,
encase
okay.
myself in ice. But it gives me vulnerability to fire damage. Is the thing.
Gotcha. Okay, okay. No, that's great.
Wow.
Hmm.
Oh, I didn't get a cool dagger or gun.
Yeah, right?
Here, let me just use my extra 110 hit points.
120. Once per short
120.
rest.
Oh.
Hey, cool. I take 3 damage.
Well, see that the thing is that is fire damage.
Yes.
So you are vulnerable to fire damage, meaning you take double.
Ah, cool.
Ooh.
So grand to the total, you take 246 fire damage.
What is your HP total?
Not enough.
So you go unconscious.
I
Fuck,
don't
dude.
believe that's enough to insta-kill you, though. Correct?
With the 120, I would be at a total of 226.
So yeah, you're perfectly.
Yeah.
You're unconscious. I will say that. Okay, we're gonna do something cool here. All right.
All right.
As you do that, you take this huge ray of fire. It's not a fireball. It is literally just this ray of concentrated green flame that envelops you completely. Argenta, as you're sitting there, you see the heat from the fire. You suddenly see Henri in front of you, and you feel the heat, and suddenly you feel very, very cold as ice forms this case around him, and then the flames shoot past you, immolating all of the pews behind you, the walls, the whole church is just engulfed in this flame. But you seem okay. You can't move still, but it's not enveloping you. It seems that Henri has stopped it. Henri, as you're sitting there and you watch as the ice melts, you feel the flames start touching your skin and burning it. Your entire body is wreathed in this fire. It's the most excruciating pain you've ever felt. You feel the bracer on your wrist tighten for a moment and then get slightly longer as a new rune appears on it. And the fire is absorbed into your bracer as the lights dim and you hit the ground. At this point, Argenta, you feel your muscles return to you. You pull your hand off the altar, and you watch as Henri collapses in front of you, and you see the formerly grinning face of the high priest contorted in this look of disbelief as the dragon flaps its wings and flies off, and you see the church start falling, pieces of the roof and that start falling down around you.
I'm gonna immediately grab Henri and just start booking it out of here so nothing falls on him.
Okay. You guys make it out. As they walk out, the rest of the cathedral collapses in on itself. And
once I'm out, I'll cast Cure Wounds on him.
Okay. Lillian, as you look, in a mixture of like horror and fear, you see the ruined citadel that you were in previously to a T. The stones are in the same place, the splintered everything. You even see the podium exploded in this the same way, with William's blood on it. And that is where we're going to end it for today, unfortunately. I know, really, really epic into that, but it is very, very late. So, thank you to everyone that tuned in. If you missed any of the episode, I do upload all of these to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/trainerjody. I upload new episodes the Sunday after I play them. So this episode will be there. This is a Sunday. And the rest of this series, going back a couple years now, is there if you want to see all the other hijinks this group has gotten into. Otherwise, again, that's all for me today. And I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.